It's the Mustang Insider Show presented by Cal Portland, the largest building materials company of cement and construction material products on the West Coast. Now, here's Chris Sylvester, the voice of the Mustangs.
Welcome to another edition of the Mustang Insider presented by Cal Portland. We continue on, and we're in the month of March. Almost a year ago, that's when everything got shut down across collegiate athletics. We didn't get a March Madness, didn't even get a Big West tournament, but we're looking forward to some March Madness and some intense college hoops here this month. The leading scorer for Cal Poly men's basketball, Alimany Koroma. He is our guest this week, a sophomore out of Freetown, Sierra Leone. Around these parts, we all know him as Ollie, and when he's hitting his threes, he's AK-15. Ollie, thanks so much for hopping on with us and taking some time. I mean, you've had such a tremendous season individually. How's everything been rolling for you guys here as we move into the month of March?
First of all, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, my guy, Chris. It's been an amazing year. Personally, I've been playing real good, but it's also been a learning curve. We're not, having the results we want, but I think the people that follow our team and see the progress we've made, in the last couple of months and the last couple of games. But it's been a learning curve. Yeah, we have a lot of young guys, and they've developed and matured throughout the season, and so there's only bright spots from here on, and I'm really excited.
Ollie, you were a freshman last year, and you had some big games. So most notably, I think back to that game you guys had at San Diego State, where you pulled down a career best 14 rebounds in that game. You scored in double figures 3 times last year, but you've taken that big leap that I think every head coach wants from a player's freshman to sophomore season. You went from a backup, forward role last season to kind of the leader on this team, certainly scoring the basketball. But as we saw this past weekend against UC Davis, you guys are at your best when they run the offense through you. What was your offseason regimen and routine like to be able to put yourself in this position to average double figures in the Big West and be one of the emerging stars that this conference has?
It just took a lot of, self, introspective, you talk to yourself, and like I didn't have the freshman year that I wanted, and I felt disappointed. It's easy to blame a lot of people. It's easy to blame, the things not going good. It's my first year. I'm away from home. Blah blah blah. It's easy to do all that, but sometimes it's good to look in and just try to be your best. Try to work as hard as you can, and that's what I did this summer. I just put my head down. I worked really hard. I was in the gym multiple times a day. I was with the trainers, getting my body right. Just trying to do whatever I can to to give it all I got. To know that all right, I put in all my effort, but I just wasn't good enough, and that would have been enough. But like I just was ready to take my game to the next level and not complain a lot. Try to help my team win, and I feel like my team can be a better team when I'm a better player. And I was just locked in the summer. I worked out really hard. I was here before, like maybe 2 months before we're supposed to be here, just working out, getting in shape, changing my body. I changed my diet, just the little things that, I didn't pay attention to my freshman year, the details, footwork, improving my shot, working on my confidence, building a better relationship with coach, just a lot of things that I did over the summer to try to get myself in this position.
Sophomore forward of the Cal Poly men's basketball Mustangs, Alimany Koroma, is our guest. And what a strange season it's been. And I know that maybe in a lot of ways you guys would have benefited from a more normal season with fans inside Mott and seeing teams twice, but maybe a month apart, and being able to make those adjustments rather than the back-to-back games like we've seen this year in the Big West. I know you're happy to be playing. There was a period of time where we weren't sure if we were even going to have a season. that being said, uh, what's this journey been like in this unique season where you guys have had a number of games either postponed or canceled? You've had last minute trips when you didn't even know about them, like that Hawaii trip last month. You guys got about 3 days notice before you had to get over there and play a couple of games. What's it been like from your point of view as a player during this pandemic college basketball season?
No, it's been crazy. Like it's been a real whirlwind type of season, and it's been crazy. But again, I feel like we're blessed to be able to play the game. You could point out to certain things that are not going good. Like you said, the Hawaii trip, we had maybe 2 days to prepare for that. But again, we get to play the game we love. You get to travel to Hawaii. Not everyone can say that. And, it's just that we really do miss the fans and Mott, to bring out a different energy. And it's always better playing in front of your fans, in front of familiar faces. And we've missed that part of the season, that part of basketball in general. But we feel blessed to be able to play the game. Certain sports had their seasons canceled. People didn't get to play their senior year, just play in general. So we feel grateful. There've been a lot of ups and downs, but I get to go in that locker room every day and have 14 other people I know, that I can count on and off the court. So I am grateful for that. It's been a crazy season, but I am grateful that we get to play, we get to battle every day, and just have fun playing the game we love.
We're chatting with Cal Poly's leading scorer this season, Alimany Koroma, close to 13 points per game, a huge improvement from his freshman to sophomore year. And he's got a lot of attention among players in the Big West Conference, certainly deserving of those all conference honors when they roll around a little more than a week from now. We're going to touch on your team and what's ahead for you guys here momentarily, but you're from Sierra Leone, Freetown, Sierra Leone. And for those that might not know, Sierra Leone is a small country off the southwest coast of Africa. And we've had a number of conversations, off record this year when we've been traveling with the team and seeing each other at practice before and after games. You didn't start playing basketball until about middle school. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So I was
talk about how you got going with the game of basketball.
so I mostly played soccer my early life because that's what most kids in Sierra Leone do. I didn't really, I didn't know a lot about basketball because no one really played basketball in Sierra Leone. But I was growing a lot faster than a lot of the kids my age, and the facilities in Sierra Leone. Well, I wouldn't say facilities, but we had like a sporting complex that had soccer, basketball, and other sports. So the basketball coaches would see me play soccer and see how tall I was, and then they would just encourage me to just come and try it out. Nothing serious, just come and mess around, And then I would come all the time just to mess around, and slowly, like, was starting to like it because it was just like fast paced, and like it was the people were they opened up to me, and they wanted me to play the game. They liked me, and I was really improving at like a fast pace. So I fell in love with it, and that's how we started basically.
So obviously, you made that transition from your home country, Sierra Leone, to the U.S. eventually. You played your prep ball, your high school ball at Prolific Prep up in Napa, Northern California. When did you first realize that, hey, I might really have a future playing the game of basketball? And then how did you get in touch with some people over here in the U.S. about playing at Prolific Prep and eventually uh, your collegiate success that you've had here at Cal Poly?
Okay. Yeah. So when I was about maybe 14 going 15 years old, I was selected to play with the national team for Sierra Leone. We played Guinea and Liberia. I didn't play a lot, but it was a learning experience, just like seeing that this game can be so much more than just, just playing for fun, just being around friends, because that's what basketball was for me back home. Just being around friends, messing around, just, having a good time. But that trip just showed me, like, people can, make a living out of this game. You can do some, but like a lot of people told me, like, you should put more effort. You should, work hard, man. You could definitely do something with your life. So I came back from that trip, and we had like a break from school, maybe like 2.5 months, and then I just worked really hard. I gave everything. I wanted to be better. I wanted to do good. I just worked hard. I was we played outside, and it was seriously super hot. So going to the court twice a day was really challenging, but I was there multiple times a day, just working on my game. And when we had a kind of it's not a pro league, it's like a semi-pro league. And when the season started, I averaged, and I moved from the second division to the first division, and I was maybe 15 going 16 at the time, and I averaged like 25 a game. And I averaged 25 a game. I remember our team made it to the playoffs, and my coach was like, I want you to meet someone before the game. And his name was Robert Wise. And he looked at me, he's like, you're really good. I want to see a couple more games. I want to see how you play. And I ended up averaging like 29 in the playoffs, and we ended up winning. So as soon as we won the championship, like the last game, he came and talked to me. He's like, because he was taking videos. He's like, I showed some of your videos to my friends in the U.S., and they're gonna like help you and try to come over. But at that time, I didn't believe it, first off, because like no one has ever come out of Sierra Leone to play basketball, so I didn't really make nothing of it. I was like, okay, just let me know. Yeah, I didn't think it was ever gonna happen. It's like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, I get a phone call from a number in the U.S., and they like called me and it's like, oh, we're excited. We want you to come over, and we have the documentation ready. We started it. We're sending it to you. I was like, really? And then like, I still didn't. I was like, okay. And then maybe a week later, I got like the documents of like, all right, you need to take these documents to the Sierra Leone embassy, the United States embassy, sorry, and apply for it. I was like, oh, this is actually happening. And then I went to get the visa, got it, got on the plane. First time on the plane, it was so scary. First time on the plane, I was alone.
And you were what, 15, 16 years old,
I was
all
16.
by yourself, go
Yeah,
on a plane for the first time, headed to a place you'd never been before.
I know. This is a story on our stop in Belgium. Like, so we stopped in Belgium, and I was holding to the boarding pass. I was like, I do not know what to do. Like, we just came off the plane, and everyone, it was so big, like everyone was moving. I just like stood there, and God bless him. Thank God, the security like walked up to me. He's like, "You okay?" I was like, I just showed him the documents. He's like, "Come with me right now," because the plane was like about to leave. And then I got in. I got to the U.S. I came to Dallas. I met Coach Phil. Coach Phil is amazing. He's done so much for me. I love him. Coach Phil, Coach Jeremy, Coach Billy. All the people at Prolific Prep. They did so much for me. I came to Dallas, and crazy story. I landed at like probably 9 p.m. and then we went to a Denny's, had something to eat. We went to a Denny's, had something to eat. But my coach had like already set me up with an AAU team, Dream Vision. So I had to play a game at like 9 a.m. the other day.
Oh man.
And yeah, and the crazy thing is I didn't even sleep because of the time difference. I was like up the whole night and I was just taking everything in and just like, I'm actually here. So we get dressed, we get to the arena, and it's inside. I've never played inside.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, I like go up and down. I'm like so winded. I like tell the coach, I was like, please take me out. So it was a journey, moving from there, going to Napa, living with a host family. My host family are amazing. Brian and Olivia Dodd, they're amazing. They made it the transition easier for me because it was definitely tough. Just imagine coming from Freetown, Sierra Leone, where you barely see white people, to staying in Napa, where you barely see black people. So that was kind of tough. But my host family, they helped me a lot. They're really good people, and so that's mostly the transition. Coming to prolific prep, you know basketball. It's like kind of high level high school basketball.
Oh yeah, no, prolific prep. If folks out there, if you're not familiar with prolific prep, they have churned out a ton of Division 1 talent. They had so many good players in your team that I mean, what type of role did you even play on that team? How many minutes
Yeah.
did you see?
So my first year, I came in and I remember the first practice. We did that to everyone. It was like a tradition. Like all the new kids that would come in, like the first practice, and they'll just go at you. Like I was like, oh my god! Like it was just like we had like my first practice. We still had like Jerry Trent working out with us. Like Josh Jackson he came back to work out. We had so many good talent. We had Nate Mensah at San Diego State. We have, one of my good friends, Amadou So, who's, playing real good in the Big West. We have McDonald's on there. So it was high level high school basketball. Like you had to be on top of your stuff to be able to even practice, let alone play. So my first year was, kind of a struggle, just getting used to the game here, the physicality, the speed. And, I just paid my own dues the first year. I got like garbage minutes here and there, and then my second year, that's when I was like, okay, my junior year, I was like, coming into my own. I played a lot more. I still didn't start. But I played a lot more, and I was more comfortable. I was more relaxed. I know I could compete with them. I know I could compete with other people. And my senior year, crazy enough, I was the team captain, and I started, a lot of games. Got hurt, set back a little bit, but I came back, played well. Had a couple of 20-point, 20-rebound games. I'm the leader in that prolific prep history. I'm pretty hyped about that. But it was a fun ride, coming to Cal Poly, having the opportunity to come to Cal Poly, and I the journey was just amazing, and I appreciate every part of it.
Well, we appreciate you sharing part of that journey with us. I want to go back to something you said a few minutes ago. Basketball players don't come out of Sierra Leone. That's what you said. But
Yeah.
for folks that don't know, literally, you are the first Division 1 basketball player to come from Sierra Leone. What does that mean to you when you hear that?
I mean, it's amazing. I feel like that was a driving force when I first came to the US. When I first came, I doubted myself because, you see a lot of talented people and you're like, oh, maybe I can't really play Division 1 basketball. But then, as time goes by, as you improve and I see like, oh, I do have a chance to play Division 1 basketball. And I'm like, you know, going through like the internet, like trying to network with other basketball players previously from Sierra Leone, and there's just none. There's no data on on anyone ever playing Division One basketball, from Sierra Leone. And I'm like, well, that would be amazing, like being the first one, and it's crazy when I signed my national letter of intent, it was like headline news in Sierra Leone and like the national TV. My mom was calling me crying. It's like, they had the whole program talking about you. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah. So it's pretty good. Basketball is not big in Sierra Leone, but the fact that people are seeing that, I can come from there and get to this level, get my education paid for, go live in a place like San Luis Obispo, go to Cal Poly, one of the top, educational institutions in the U.S. And it's they can do it too. They can do it. They work hard. So I'm very proud of myself for that. And my biggest the reason I'm proud is that other people are believing that they can do what I do and maybe even better. So yeah.
Alimany Koroma, sophomore forward, Cal Poly's leading scorer from Freetown, Sierra Leone, our guest on the Mustang Insider presented by Cal Portland. You mentioned your host family made it such an easy transition, but you haven't been back home to Sierra Leone since you
Yeah.
left. How tough is it being away from your biological parents and your biological family and some of your friends over there? And do you have any plans to go back anytime soon?
I do. I do have plans to go back when I graduate. No, yeah, I haven't seen them since. But like I said, uh, home is where the heart is, and my heart would always be with my family in Sierra Leone. But again, home is where the heart is, and my family here, they've created such a loving and caring environment that I do miss my biological family. Of course, there would always be that, but my family here, the dogs have been, more than anything I could have asked for. To bring someone into your life and just treat them like a part of the family. And it's just not them; it's just the entire extended family. They just embrace me. They just it would be like a whole reunion at my games at Prolific Prep because like everyone would come. They would come. They will show up to my games, and last year they would still come to my games when we played Davis. They were there, and they just make everything easy. Like I'm not. Like I said, I have my ups and downs. It's easy to just call them and vent, and my host mom would always, be always in my corner, and it'll just make it easy. So, yeah, I haven't seen my family for a really long time, but my host family here is making that easy for me.
Well, I'm sure they're proud of you for what you've been able to accomplish on and off the floor since you got to the U.S. What led you to pick Cal Poly coming out of Prolific Prep? I know you had some other offers, you had some other looks from Big West programs, including John Smith when he was at Cal State Fullerton. You
Yeah.
signed with the old coaching regime here, but by the time you got here, John Smith was the head coach. So tell us a little bit about what led you to become a Mustang.
Yeah. So I got recruited by the former coach. Got recruited by John Smith too, and a couple of other schools. But John Smith, Coach John Smith, just when he came to my practice the first day, he was just, he said, "You're the type of player that we need, and you're gonna grow into a type of player that will help lead a team to a Big West championship." And just with all that happened with the former coach getting fired, and as soon as I found out that John Smith had been hired, I was like, well, that's an easy decision because he's someone that he's proven that he could go to bat for his players. He's proven that he can win. He's shown that he can win. We as players just have to believe. The fans just have to be patient. And he's one of the main reasons I came here. David Hanson also, he just, we built a relationship, me and him. just, he will constantly come up to Napa, be with my family, talk to me. Just, the relationship with the coaches also made that decision easy. Also, my family's 4 hours away. They can drive down here whenever they want to. So, being close to my family, playing for a coach that, showed interest in you before even having a head coaching job. So it just made it easy. And you get to live in San Luis Obispo, get to live in paradise. Who don't want that?
I ask people the same question all the time. I'm from LA. I do not miss the traffic. I do not miss the smoggy air conditions. I think this is definitely a slice of paradise up here on the Central Coast. Ollie, last thing for you, and really appreciate you telling us your story and your journey of how you got to where you are. But one thing you just mentioned, fans got to be patient. You got a lot of young guys on this team. We're seeing Brantley Stevenson, Cam Pierce, some of the other freshmen start to improve and get more comfortable on the floor. Obviously, you guys are such a young team that you as a sophomore, along with Colby Rogers, you guys are the top two scoring options on this squad. How excited are you for the next couple of years if all of these guys can stay together and continue to buy into the long-term vision that John Smith and company have?
I'm pretty excited. I'm really excited, Just feel like the way me and Colby Rogers have played this year, a lot of people probably wouldn't think they were sophomores, because we played really good. He's battled a lot of injuries. People don't know about that. That won't show up, but he's battled a lot of injuries, but he still comes in day out and he works. He helps our team. He's a constant threat because he can get us a bucket anytime we want him to. And for the freshmen, Cam, Brantley, Kobe, and all of them, they're just super talented, but just super young. I keep saying, Rome was not built in a day, but the talent we have here, the dudes we have here, they're just, I'm very excited. I've seen there are games where, me and Kobe might be struggling, and the freshmen will just keep us in the game, Just them four or maybe three will find a way to keep us in the game. And they're just going to get better. They're just going to improve. This team, this group of guys, we're going to find a way to win. We just want people to trust us, people to believe us. It's tough. It's tough, not getting the results we want. Trust me. We're more disappointed than, you guys, because we put in the work. We come in every day and battle. So we just need, people to be patient with us. And we're going to be a good group. And I'm pretty excited about the future.
I think we all are when we see how much youth is on this roster and how much guys like yourself, Colby Rogers, and others have progressed so quickly in such little time here at Cal Poly. Alimany Koroma, our guest this week on the Mustang Insider. Hey, best of luck at Santa Barbara against your old mate Amadou Sow and company this weekend. I know that's going to be fun for you. And best of luck, safe travels to Vegas. I hope you guys can make some noise in that tournament next week.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, so we were joined by Alimany Koroma of the Cal Poly men's basketball team on this week's episode of the Mustang Insider presented by Cal Portland. As always, we have to thank our partners, including American Riviera Bank. Well, right now you can open a Cal Poly Mustang checking account today, and they'll donate $150 to support student athletes. You can get a Cal Poly Mustang debit card and Cal Poly checks. Just visit arb.bank/Mustangs for more information. Make sure to catch us next week for another edition of the Mustang Insider presented by Cal Portland.
This has been the Mustang Insider Show presented by Cal Portland, with a commitment to environmental leadership that has made the organization stronger and is the primary choice of contractors. The Mustang Insider Show. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation of the Cal Poly Sports Network.